Welcome to the Benzino Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. Let the self-destruction of the WNBA continue to take place. The WNBA, where women are advocating for their own league to be eradicated. Seriously, that is the logical thought path we are on. The women in the WNBA, the coaches in the WNBA, advocating for their league to be overtaken by men. Did you guys see that clip over there in Spain where you have all the criminals, all the illegal aliens running into Spain? And then there's that one woman in Spain saying, yeah, come on, as they get ready to take over her country. This is kind of what's going on in the WNBA to a far, far, far lesser degree. You have the WNBA women waving in people to come take over their sport that don't belong in their sport. They're waving in men. Yeah, come on, guys. Come on. Literally. Come on, guys. Come on. You're allowed in here. Sooner than later, the WNBA is going to have Joanna Man step through those doors. And you know what? At first, I'm sure they'll be all for it. But then 1 year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, they're going to start crying and boo-hooing and whining and, oh my gosh, my sport's been overtaken. My sport's been ran. Oh, I'm ran out of my sport. Oh, there's no place for me to go. Let's get into it, shall we? Like the video, hype the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve addresses the upcoming Sophie Cunningham rally on Sunday. Now, we all know Cheryl Reeve. Cheryl Reeve, she was featured on this channel about 2 weeks ago when she said, yeah, we got to get more men in here. Yeah, we got to get more men in this sport. Of course we do. We got to diversify our portfolio. Interesting. The Sophie Cunningham comments took place, and here we are now. Quote, I don't think these demonstrators are not being peaceful. Everyone has a right to peacefully assemble. That's whether you agree with them or not. Yeah, it's crazy. The demonstrators supporting Sophie Cunningham and defending women's sports, wow, peaceful protesters. The opposition is the opposition that will lose their mind and have somebody catch one in the neck on camera. I'm just saying. The narrative that I think is problematic is to suggest that, number one, that transgender athletes are the biggest problem in sports. There's a faction of people in our country that are making this a massive issue. It is not the case that we have biological men in girls' locker rooms. The way it is being phrased, the innuendo there that transgender women are predators of some kind in the locker room, there's a lot of narrative that is problematic that we need to address. Oh no, they're predators in the locker room. They're predators in the locker room. Now, did Cheryl Reeve hear about this story? I'm assuming she didn't. Did Cheryl Reeve hear about this story? High school officials have been charged with failing to report the alleged sexual assault of high school wrestler Kelly Keeler by a trans opponent. Principal Jason Smith and athletic coordinator Peter Collins failed to tell the police about the assault for nearly 2 months, as first reported by Brandy Cruz in February. This trans competitor, this dude competing against this girl, stuck his fingers in her hoo-ha. Yeah, that's sexual assault. And the article even goes on to say, you can see her mouthing, video taken by Kelly's mom on December 6th captures the disgust and panic in Kelly's face. She tries to mouth something to her mom, quote, her fingers are in my hoo-ha. Her mom can't make out what she's saying and is on the wrong side of the mat to see what's happening to her daughter. The referee is also out of line of sight. Traumatized and confused, Kelly decided to let her opponent pin her. Now again, this is a dude on top of her. She had no chance. Let's get into it. Let's take a look at this article, shall we? Again, Cheryl Reeve will tell you that incidents like that don't happen. Cheryl Reeve will tell you that incidents like that don't happen. And boys like that pretending to be girls aren't problems in girls' locker rooms, aren't problems in women's locker rooms. They could change the janitor's closet for all I care. They don't, just not in the women's locker room. take a look at the article, shall we? Lynx coach defends trans athletes ahead of big game versus Fever with Sophie Cunningham rally scheduled outside. The article goes on. Minnesota Lynx head coach defended the right of Save Women's Sports demonstrators to gather outside Sunday's game against the Indiana Fever, even as she rejected their argument. It's not the case that we have biological men in girls' locker rooms. The way it's being phrased, the innuendo there, I literally just gave you an example. I literally just gave you an example of a man being in women's locker room, a man going up against women in a boy being in a girl's locker room, a boy going up girls wrestler in high school and assaulting them. Again, they want to make it seem like we're uneducated, but it's more like they're oblivious. Make sense? They want to say that, oh, if you're against this, you're uneducated. Well, number one, I'm not a fucking retard. Number two, I have common sense. And number three, I think you're just oblivious to all the incidents that are getting exposed left, right, up, down, everywhere. Oh, that's just one case. One case. Second case. Oh, that's just one case. Well, now that's the second case. Oh, that's just one case. Well, now we're at the 137th case. Oh, that's just one case. Well, now we're at the 1,262nd case of this happening. How many more times are you going to tell me, oh, that's one case? How many times are you going to say that? Again, they are just oblivious to what's going on. They're oblivious and they don't want to see it. Fever star Sophie Cunningham recently said that she took a stand on the issue because, quote, I want to protect young girls in the locker room or young girls in sport who shouldn't have to go against biological men. Reeve suggested she is not concerned about any safety issue as a result of the rally. I don't think we should feel like our safe space is being threatened. Well, that's exactly how you guys are feeling. That's how you feel. That's how Stephanie White feels. That's how the players in this league feel. That's how the fans around this league feel. That's how the WNBA reporters around this league feel. That's why you guys are lashing out at every opportunity you have, because you're scared. You literally feel like the one place where you belong, the WNBA. Oh my gosh, normal people are taking over my safe space. You'll get over it. You'll get over it. Reeve said the league must protect players and fans who feel threatened or discriminated against while preserving the WNBA's culture of inclusion. The commissioner and the league have a responsibility to ensure that any topic that could be problematic for players or they perceive to be unsafe or threatened in any way or discriminated against. I think that's something that's fair for our leadership, Reeve said. So, you know, these players in this league feel unsafe and threatened by everything, right? They're mentally fragile. They're on loads of antidepressants and drugs. But Reeve also argued that transgender participation has been presented as a larger threat to women's sports than it is. However, she acknowledged that the questions become more complicated after puberty and at elite levels where championships and scholarships are at stake. Every kid has the right to access, Reeve said. Now, what gets nuanced is when you're beyond puberty, when you're an Olympic sport, when you're looking at scholarships and that sort of thing. That's where I say that common sense people need to get together and you find common ground to find a way to be inclusive. The answer is to get your own fucking sport. Play with the men or get your own fucking sport. Right? There's no trans activists out there that say, oh, we're just going to put together our own sport. There's no big conglomerate that's funding all of these people to show up to protests and rallies and burn cities down. Can those people that are paying these hacks, can you just pay them to get their own sport? Can you do that for us? Just get them out of our hair, please. I'd appreciate that. Reeve nevertheless maintained that transgender participation is not the greatest obstacle facing female athletes, pointing instead of disparities in facilities, uniforms, locker rooms, and institutional investment. Well, it actually is, because there's no female sports if there aren't female athletes. So all those disparities wouldn't exist if there's just men in the sports, because then they'll use the male locker room. Like, oh yeah, might as well use the male locker room. Oh, might as well use the men's facilities. The biggest, gee Louise, like the attacks on trans people, the attacks that they've gone through, it seems like it's got way more aggressive. It's sort of sickening when the issues they are trying to tackle are really not issues. The number of transgender athletes they are now making laws for and creating a problem to get elected. What I'm hoping for is that people have gotten themselves more educated and they understand that that's not actually a problem. It's a huge problem. Exclusion is never the answer. That's the answer here. Separate isn't equal. Sometimes it is. And trans lives matter, so it takes something away that's so valuable that sports person. Again, play your own sport. Play your own sport. Of course, the Minnesota Lynx actually didn't allow the Outkick media to get a credential for Sunday's game against the Indiana Fever. I'm assuming they want softball questions in the building. And she's absolutely getting crushed. They think 80% to 90% of the country is a small minority. Delusional. The innuendo is that men don't belong in women's private spaces. That's it. Pretty straightforward, really. Yeah. The WNBA, its players and coaches have made their stance clear. They are in favor of men and women's sports, and they hate conservatives. This league is great at attacking the very people who made them money and notable for the first time in their 30-year history. Yeah. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. That means so much to me. See you next time, and as always, take it easy.